BRBeer. Be right beer. Beer, right beer. An ancient Egyptian brewery, the oldest ever found. You might know that Patty's Pub is the oldest pub in Boston. That's not true. But the oldest pub in Egypt is circa 3000 before Common Era BCE. 3000 years BCE. 5,000 years ago, this giant brewery was hopping. That's not a hops pun. It was hopping in the 20s sense of everyone getting drunk and dancing like flappers. This is the south exterior of the enclosure of King Kasekemwi circa 2750 BCE. A massive deposit of beer jars was found. It's the biggest bar. It's a huge bar from 5,000 years ago, and this was just unearthed in 2018, but also it's still being unearthed, and they're continuing to explore it. It says here that this brewery could create 1,800, daily beer for 1,800 people. I mean, daily beer for some people is different than daily beer for another, but 1,800 people apparently were from Egyptian records were being paid a wage of beer or a beer ration. So this is a brewery of kings of Egypt brewing themselves lots of delicious beer and giving them out as ration for workers, because there were many workers who worked on this brewery. This is a precursor to the giant pyramids. So this might have been a sort of a test of the union, the workers' unions, in that they had apparently 9,000 workers working for the king, and they were giving them beer rations. Let's see. Based on the Egyptian figures for amount of beer provided daily to workers on state projects as part of their wages, this would have been enough to provide a day's beer ration to more than 1,800 people. In modern times, this had the capacity of brewing roughly the equivalent of a pint for everyone attending a baseball game, Major League Baseball. I don't know what that means, because baseball stadiums can hold upwards of 30,000, 50,000 people. So does that mean that these 1,800 workers were getting like 10 beers a day? I don't know. Not seeing your math here, but okay. So this is let's see, a big part of royal rituals in early Egypt. It was a big city. This was one of the early big cities of Egypt. Let's see. These kings also built enormous companion monuments. Likely a direct connection between the brewery and these monuments. There's abundant evidence that ritual offerings were made inside the enclosure, including huge deposits of pottery beer jars. Cool. They found some residue of the beer in the bottom of these jars. I really want somebody to brew that up and make it back into beer. So the most aged beer ever. Speaking of which, this article is from a couple of years back, but our taste for beer might go back even further, 13,000 years. This is because they found evidence that thousands of years ago, the Natufian people in the Mediterranean area were making beer in caves. They found stone mortars in a cave in near Israel, present day Jaffa, Israel, and they would let's see, the Natufians brewed beer for ritual feasts. Anyway, residue sample. They found basically they found alcohol residue on the samples. We did not set out to find alcohol in the stone mortars, but just wanted to investigate what plants people consumed because very little data was available. Blah blah blah. But spoiler, they found beer. That was 13,000 years ago. How long have humans enjoyed alcohol? Before we were human. This is just going down this rabbit hole. This is from 2014 article, but you probably know that many primates love to drink beer. Many of our close relatives in the ape family will find monkeys will find alcohol in rotting fruit, basically. Fruit that's on the ground oftentimes will turn into alcohol. Let's see. So this article is saying that we've been enjoying alcohol for maybe 10 million years, maybe 50 million years. There's this protein, ADH4 protein, that helps humans metabolize alcohol. And they see about 10 million years ago, primates started having higher levels of ADH4, and they think that it was selected for because around this time the earth cooled off, food sources changed, and the primate ancestor, whatever this 50 million year ago primate ancestor of ours, started to explore life on the ground. When animals started coming out of the trees and living on the ground, they started eating not only fruit picked from trees, but the fallen fruits below, and fallen fruits, when they're exposed to bacteria in the environment that convert sugars to alcohols, will begin to produce ethanol. So if you could hold your liquor, if you were a monkey that could hold down your shit, you could survive longer. If you got drunk, if you were a cheap date, as this researcher says in this Science Mag article, you got ate up by predators. So that's natural selection, selecting us to enjoy and be able to heartily drink our alcohol for 10 million years now, and drinking beer for many thousands of those years.